Have you ever thought of getting into business, starting a small business? Perhaps you're employed, perhaps you're not employed, and just thinking, how much money do I need to start a business? Today, I'm really excited because I'm speaking to Lillian Nyagaki. She's the CEO and founder of Lila Signature Events, and she'll be telling us about how she started her business with a capital of only 20,000 shillings. So you have no excuse. Lillian, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much, Sharian. My name is Lillian Nyagaki. I'm honored to be here today to just speak maybe a word of encouragement to someone about how my business is going on. I started business in 2019 and the year went on amazingly good. I had experience in events before and that really gave me a boost into what I was doing. And come 2020, hospitality industry, everything was at a standstill, and that made me adapt very quickly, because then again bills will not wait, will not know this is COVID, so they'll wait for you. And I got on to virtual assistants working online, and that went on until January of this year, and events started picking up again.
Yeah.
And it's quite an interesting journey,
Yeah.
a journey that makes you grow, not just physically, mentally, but also spiritually. Because I know for me as a Christian, I depend more, I know what it means to have faith in God. I know what it means to wake up and you don't know what will happen next week, but then next week comes and boom, your bank account has changed.
I know. Tell me about how you started out. You know, first you were employed in the events business.
Yes.
So what made you decide to venture out on your own?
My daughter, I have a 10-year-old daughter, and I realized I wasn't spending much time with her, and within no time she would be a grown up and I wouldn't know her. So for that, I decided to get into business, still doing events because I'm very passionate about them. I thrive, I become myself when I'm handling an event. And running my own gives me time to be with her because I'm not always outside. My office is at home, so when she comes from school, we get to spend time, we do homework together. If I'm out, then it's maybe for 2-3 days. The rest of the week, I get to spend time with her. And that really, and seeing the difference of who she is and growing into, maybe one day she'll be sitting where you're sitting.
Amen to that. Tell me though about capital. And one of the things we hear a lot about is, people saying, I have a great idea, but I don't really have the kind of money that is needed to get into business. So how much was your initial capital when you ventured out? Had you saved millions of shillings? And then how has the business grown since then?
The beauty with events, it's very client driven. Every client comes and have a different idea of what they want the event to feel and look like. And so I didn't start with a lot of capital. I started with a few centerpieces, that was 20,000 shillings. I made them locally. I was scared of importing from China because I was like, it will take I don't know how many months.
Yeah.
So I just started, I made them locally, and that is the basis of my business. But most of the time, the beauty with this industry, there are people who have really majored on rentals, and you just need to give them a call, you hire the items, and you execute the event for the client.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need even money in terms of capital, in terms of money, just your time, your creativity, and your willingness to go and see different things that different people have.
Yeah.
And you can be able to execute an event.
Now in business, especially the events business, actually in all businesses, is a lot of networking. How do you find new clients, especially knowing that you were working somewhere else and you of course cannot steal your former employers' clients. So what was that like, building your brand, getting new clients? Was it difficult? Was it easy?
It wasn't difficult for me because I get referrals. I thank God that once I execute an event, most of the time that particular client becomes a lifetime client, and they keep referring me. And I have worked with PR firms. A PR firm always has like events coming up. So such a client gives me business, continuous business. When it comes to also work with production houses, I've done a bit of setup for Selena show. So that is something that continues. You see, there's continuity, and that has helped me grow. I do also social events, except kids parties. I just couldn't handle kids parties. And so social events and corporate events. But in terms of networking, my clients have really grown me. I get referrals, and the ones that I made, we keep going together.
Wow, that's amazing, because relationships are everything.
True.
And referrals are a great way of growing your business. Tell me though, so you spoke about when COVID hit, and then naturally events business was one of the ones that was hardest hit.
Yes.
But then you began to look at options for new revenue streams,
Yes.
such as going online. How did that happen?
So before, like several years ago, I was writing online, but then it was too tedious before I got into the event space. So writing is quite mind consuming and all, but I was doing it, as a mother. You have to do what you have to do because your child has to go to school.
Yeah.
There's bills to be paid and things like that. When COVID came, I went online. I'm like, what do I have? What strengths do I have as an individual that I can offer somebody else and they're willing to pay for it? And that is virtual assistance. I didn't want to learn a totally new skill, so it was just basically administration. I do that for my business, research, putting documents together, simple things to me. And I went on Upwork, I registered, I did a proposal. Thank God, it was my first proposal, and I got the job.
Yeah, wow.
And it was quite interesting.
Yeah.
And the first day I got my M-Pesa, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so easy. So easy, nice.
Yeah. So you did that, and then within your events business, you also have different. You do the flowers,
Yes.
and then
So I think the beauty of being, let me say, self-employed, is I have time to try things. So I do paper flowers, I craft paper flowers, and those are also used in events, backdrops, but they're also used in homes. You can have it in your baby's nursery room and things like that. I do wedding planning. I do event design and styling, and other things that now I have the time to do so.
Yeah.
That is working with theater production houses.
Yeah.
So basically things that require creativity. Someone who is keen to strict timelines and a lot of creativity. Yes.
And you also learned how to bake.
Oh yes, cookies. I baked a cake that really backfired. I was like, I'm done with cakes. So I learned how to bake cookies because I had so much time at home.
Yeah.
So like with my daughter, what I'm going to experiment.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do cookies.
Okay.
And it came out amazing.
Okay.
I baked twice only.
Only
Little
twice. Okay, so what would you say are some of the biggest challenges as a small business owner that you have faced, especially in the last couple of years? And where do you see your business going?
One of the challenges is consistent cash flow. Because with events, it's a luxury. Even if it's a birthday, you can have a birthday at your home. Bake your cake and have your birthday. It's not something that everybody is doing at every other day. And so consistency of cash flow, so that requires a lot of discipline. When the money comes in, you need to really plan it properly, knowing that in the next 2 weeks you might not have any other income until something like that. And also, I think being a solopreneur, because now I'm doing everything myself, so at times it gets to be very tiring. Yes, I have the manpower. I get casuals because I don't want to employ people full time. I get casuals, but then in the long run, I would want to have a fully fledged office where I can scale up my business, that my business is not dependent on me as an individual. Put systems in place, put people in place, and then the business can now grow to another level. Yes.
Okay. And what advice would you have for somebody who's, thinking of starting a business, maybe has an idea, maybe doesn't have an idea, doesn't have capital? What advice would you give them based on your experience?
Do it afraid. Just do it afraid. Step on that pedal and go. God always comes through. For me, God has always come through. Even when I don't know what will happen, I don't know. Right now, I don't know. I don't have any bookings next month. But trust me, before the month ends, I'll have bookings. So just do it afraid. Trust in God, and do what you learn. Because then that passion motivates you to keep going. Because if you don't have passion for it, then the days that you don't have work, you can easily lose heart and don't do anything about it. But so be passionate about it. For me, it energizes me to keep going.
Yes. Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tata.
So I've been chatting to Lillian. Lillian is the CEO and founder. You have to drop your handle so that people can follow you.
I will.
At
at Lila Signature Events.
At Lila's signature events. I want to say a big thank you to Absa. Absa She account is something you must really check out if you're a woman and getting into business or already in business. There's so much you can get. And you know, I always say as a business woman myself that sometimes the banks or banks that we have experience only give you money. But once you join the Absa She account, you get so much more. You get mentorship, you get somebody to hold your hand, you get advice, you get even access to markets. So this is an all-round account made specifically for the woman in business. So be sure to check that out. I will tag the Absa account down below so you're able to follow up. Asante sana and God bless.